Hello, this is Mad Cat, and welcome to another edition of Homeless Tools. And I mean, the thing with tools when you're homeless is that you're coming from a life that wasn't designed for you to be homeless. So when you make use of things in your transition, you often have things that are not conventional. And, well, you're often having to repurpose items. I mean, if you spent your whole life preparing to be homeless, you would have a different set of tools altogether. So, someone's walking up right now. I don't really want to speak. As useful as these videos are to all of you out there, it's just it feels weird to talk about them in front of actual people. So anyways, like I'm saying, is that taking your old life, and hopefully the life that's waiting for you once you get yourself out of this situation, taking that and repurposing it for homelessness, it's going to seem a little weird. Like, fishing lures. Well, fishing hooks, you use safety pins. You use nylon rope for a fishing line. You might use peanut butter to set up traps for squirrels. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of... It seems like there would be better things to use, and yet that's what you start off with. So, right now I am testing my sweater coat. Like I said, I tie it around my waist. I've got a bottle of water with me, and I've got my cell phone and my iPod, actually. I also have the charger. I'm mostly just testing this out, seeing if there's any flaws with it. One unfortunate thing is it does feel like it's being weighed down when I put the devices in there, and the water bottle. I need a drink, so let's see how I accomplish this. But, so I've got to find a way to use this that doesn't feel like it's slipping down constantly. I put a double knot around my waist. I don't drink Diet Coke or a Coke Zero, but it's my girlfriend's. She was over here recently, spent some time with me, so that was nice. But, I don't know, using it makes me think of her, so it gives me like a symbol to hold on to. So, there's one tool that's going to be very, very important. I don't know at what importance that I would talk about, or what levels I would put it at, as far as importance go. I mean, you could say that food and water is the most important thing, and then there's shelter, staying dry, staying warm. These are all very important things. But the kicker is that there's one thing that I guess those are a lot of short-term things that turn into long-term problems. But there's one that is a long-term problem that you need to address in the short term. It's kind of a reversed idea. And that is entertainment. Now, as I've mentioned, I have an iPod Touch. My iPod Touch I've had since 2009. I was actually doing iPhone support, and the iPhone and iPod Touch at that time were very, very similar to each other. I don't know if they are anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if they were, but I couldn't afford an actual iPhone myself, and I needed something so I could really help my customers, you know. So I bought this for myself, and this was like a generation or two before they actually put a camera on these things. Bitches, bastards, damn you, Steve Jobs. But it doesn't really matter now. So this is going to be a useful tool for myself. While I do have my cell phone serves very specific purposes. It serves as a GPS device, so I have an idea of where I'm going, so long as I stay on the roads, and it's not the middle backcountry roads. So if I need to go from destination to destination, I have this. Although I won't keep it on the entire time, I'll use it in bursts to try to figure out where it is that I'm going. Try to get an idea. Then I also use this to keep in contact with people. I have Facebook app on here. I have a Skype app on here. Text messages, what have you. Not that I plan to use the text messages very often, and I only use the social media apps when I'm in a Wi-Fi connection. Try to reduce the amount that I'm using for mobile data. Although with my girlfriend here, I actually used it a lot for GPS, and I found that throughout those days I only used like about 30 megabytes. So that data is going to last me a long time. The other thing that I use for this device also, well, for videos like this, but I also use a Kindle reading app. Primarily because this has a 4G connection at the very least. So if I need to download a book, I can easily do that. And I can read off of this thing as a bigger screen. I could have brought my Kindle with me, and I'm leaving that behind. I don't want to leave it behind, but I'm leaving it behind because it's just, you know, an extra thing that I can replace with my cell phone. So, what then do I need my iPod Touch for? Well, this is my entertainment. While I use the cell phone, an Android smartphone, for the reading and the internet access, the social aspect of my life, the only real social that I'll have, this has, that's one other thing that this phone has, is some entertainment. I have cribbage on here, and I have Candy Crush on here. I enjoy Candy Crush. It's a good puzzle game that has a lot of randomness to it, so it keeps me entertained. I wish I had more than 5 lives at a single time, but I enjoy it. I mean, if it had like 10 lives, you know, it'd be a lot greater. So, this does have games on it, but this has music, and it has movies. Music and movies. Of each one, I have about 2 to 3 days worth. Like, if I watched all the movies, it would last me for 2 days straight. If I listened to all the music, it would last me for 3 days straight. Certainly, I don't intend to do it straight, but there's enough on here that hopefully will keep me entertained for the next 6 months. I mean, it's basically saying, you know, if you could only take 40 movies with you, which I think I have 39 movies on here. If I could only take 40 movies with me, what would I take? And that's basically what I've done. I have a lot of favorites. I put all of the Harry Potters on here. I'm not a big fan of Harry Potter. The only reason why I'm doing is because I want to analyze these movies. Because a lot of people out there that would potentially buy my books would be Harry Potter fans. And in fact, that's one thing I want to do is analyze all of these movies. I put movies on there that feature character development of some sort that allows me to analyze these characters, analyze the story. But then there's just the entertainment value of these as well. Look, once survival is taken care of, let's see if I can get better light. It's pretty dark right now. Once, keeping warm at night, having food, having water. I mean, these are all short-term problems that need to be taken care of over the long term. But then you got your own mental health. And, I'm first to tell you what it's like to spend most of your time alone. And during the first 2 to 3 years of my disability, I spent a lot of times never speaking to anyone. Not that I didn't want to, I tried, but, it's just like the friends I did have, they just, disconnected with me for whatever reason. I think it's because I stopped being convenient for them. And then I really wasn't well known in the men's sphere. I wasn't really well known in the writing sphere. I had a few friends out there who wanted to help, but they had their own lives to live. It took a long time before I ever really had anyone to talk to. And I still I have people to talk to now. It's not completely isolating, but I really don't have any person to talk to face to face. And that gets to you. So I know what it's like. I know what it's like when your mental health becomes a liability. And yes, I've almost committed suicide for those exact reasons, where I really needed people in my life to talk to, but I didn't want them to be there because I needed them to be. I wanted them to be there because they wanted to. And, if I say, hey, I need someone to hang out with me because I feel like I'll commit suicide, I feel like I'm manipulating them into doing what I want. And that actually makes it feel worse. They're only here because I said something. They're not here because they actually want to be around me. They want to know what I think and feel on certain subjects. So, and thankfully I haven't committed suicide. And I am thankful for that. There's a lot that I've done in the last 18 months that have made life worth living. Enough so that I'm in this situation, which only increases my desire to commit suicide. And I'm saying, I can make it. But even that, like I said, it increases the chances because I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be hungry for several days on end. I'm going to feel as if life is hopeless. And I've got to do everything I can to try to mitigate that. And having entertainment helps with that. And that is one of the most important tools. It is a long-term problem that needs to be dealt with on the short term. You have short-term problems that need to be handled on the long term, but you got a long-term problem that needs to be handled on the short term. So, from day one, here's my solution. It's not a great solution. It is not a permanent solution. But it's something I can use. I can listen to music while I walk. And at nighttime, if I have enough power for this, I can go ahead and watch some movies. I can play some games on this. You know, I've got a couple of games on here, some really interesting ones. You know, and if I pace myself, this can last me for 6 months before I need to change any of it. I mean, the only thing is that there'll be a bit of stagnation because I'm not changing it, but, you know, over 800 songs on here. And I'm going to try to add a little bit more because, you know, I wish I got the 64 gigabyte one, in all honesty. I think when I bought this, 32 gigabyte was the biggest one, and then a few months later, they released the 64 gigabyte. And, you know, if I had the 64 gigabyte, certainly I could have a lot more movies on here. But, you know, I'm happy for this. I'm happy that I can have this in my possession because this means I can have entertainment. You know, when it comes to being homeless, don't knock the value of entertainment. I have music, I have movies, I have games, I have books to read, I have social media. And, you know, hopefully when I'm at a library, you know, I have books that I can read, or maybe I can go on YouTube and check things out. So, once again, do not devalue the importance of entertainment. It is just as important as building a fire for yourself at night. It's just as important as having food to eat and water to drink. I am willing to say that those things are slightly more important, you know, but those are short-term solutions. I can't have a fire going for 6 months straight. Every day, it's a new problem to build a fire. Every day, it's a new problem to eat. Every day, it's a new problem to have water to drink. Every day, it's a new problem to be dry. But this is not a problem every day, because every day I have this to keep my mind going. Something to think about. All right, so that's going to do it for me today. I don't want to spend 30 minutes on this. You know, description down below. If you don't see anything there, it means I haven't had time to actually go onto my channel to change the information there. You can look at other videos I've done or look at my About Me section for links. Oh, that's a little bit better lighting. Look at the About Me for links to my Patreon, my PayPal, my GoFundMe. All of those are going to help me get out of being homeless. But until I can actually do that, they're also going to help me have food, water, you know, be able to do laundry, what have you. Beyond that, I also have my books. If you're not comfortable doing any of those, perfectly understandable. Consider buying my book. It's only $2.99. Like I said, I get 70% of that. If you want to help me out further, you can go ahead and buy all of my books, all 5 of them. I've calculated the cost. It'll cost you about $10, and I make about $5.50 from that. And it's not exactly a great amount, but, you know, it's money. And anytime someone purchases one of those, they get higher in search results. So if I end up getting like 100 for every 100 sold, 100, you know, sold for each one, I mean, that's $50 for me, but that also puts me higher in search results. I think I did the math on that one wrong, but you get the point. You know, the more that I sell of each one, the higher search results I get, which in turn means more people find them and more likely to buy them. So, I mean, $3 spent on me may not seem like much, but it really helps out. It really, really does. So I want you to consider that if you don't want to donate on those other things. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. This is Mad Cat signing off. Ooh, I did it right this time.